Hello and welcome everyone to another Starcraft 2 England cast. Today I have got another game from the Korean Starcraft 2 League. It is between New Star Hosio's Freaky and he is playing against STKingKong. King Kong is the red Zerg in the bottom position, Freaky is the blue Zerg in the top position, and this is a ZvZ game. It is on Antigua Shipyard, the GSL version, which means force cross bonds, and there's also this supply depot there. So this is obviously a ZvZ, so what can we expect? Well, it's quite hard to predict what's going to happen in a ZvZ because unlike other mirror matches, there's less kind of restrictions in what can happen. I mean, the only thing for certain is we could have there's three main stages. We could start off with, say for example, the Zergling phase, where whoever has the most Zerglings wins. That's then kind of completely obliterated once Banelings come out because, well, Banelings kill Zerglings really effectively. So then you get the kind of the Ling Bling phase where it's all about control, the Baneling hits and that sort of stuff. But then of course Banelings, they become completely useless once someone goes for Roaches, because once Roaches get up to a critical mass, neither Zerglings or Banelings can take them out effectively. So then you're kind of in phase 3, which is Roaches, and then from Roaches you're sort of in the mid game. That's when you're really firmly into the mid game, and going on from there you either have a choice of sort of Roach Infestor, Roach Hydra. Occasionally you may see Mutalisks out, but they're going really out of fashion, purely because if you go Mutas for example, and your opponent goes for a big Roach army, and you start killing them, essentially they just get their Roach army, march over and kill you. And there's not much your Mutas can do about that, because Mutas are just too ineffective in head-on fights. They're only really good at killing, well, in small numbers obviously, only good at killing workers. In large numbers they become stupidly good, especially against Protoss. Anyway, we will see both players going for, well, not actually similar builds. There's an Extractor down, of course, for King Kong. Meanwhile, Freaky looks like he's going for that earlier expansion. That's considerably earlier actually. So, this basically means there's going to be a Speedling against a relatively quick expansion. Neither player going for a hatch first build, which I think's wise. You can get away with it, but it can also be a bit dangerous. And if you're playing in some kind of league or something like that, you don't want to really risk it. On the ladder you can, but or in something like a best of 3 you may choose to. But generally, I think going pool then hatch, just as Freaky did, is a very good move. And he's actually getting up his gas now, so his extractor won't be much later. There is that 100 gas already mined though for King Kong, slightly over actually, so speed is on the way. This Overlord is critical, shows these Zerglings are coming across the map, and that's really going to give him the warning that, well, hang on, going to have some pressure on this spine. Nice position here, we'll be able to defend sort of anything that could come at him, unless of course King Kong was to do a massive all-in. But I believe that Overlord did see the hatchery go down, which of course would be critical, because that just lets him know that, okay, it's just a bit of Zergling pressure, this isn't an all-in or anything like that. The Queen's there as well, so between the Queen and the Spine, these Zerglings aren't going to be able to do anything. There's only 4 as well, so they are going to get taken down really hard, and will probably actually just end up scouting. They can attack this hatch, but they're never going to take it down anytime soon. And really, this movement of Spine is absolutely perfect. The Queen can go there. It becomes really nice. These 2 Zerglings do need to be a bit careful though, and currently Freaky is still just droning. He's perfectly happy with what's going on. He must know that's down then. Meanwhile, not much else really happening. Speed just finishing up now for King Kong, and well, now these Zerglings become a bit more of a threat because they can run past that Spine awfully quickly. You can especially kite around and start picking off drones up here. I don't think that Spine would have enough range. And meanwhile, we've got the Baneling nest coming down here for Freaky, so he's already moving into sort of phase 2 of the ZvZ action. King Kong, he's still just happily saving up money, which I'm not really sure what he's planning to do with that. It could be for, like, one of the only thing I can think of is he's going to flood an awful lot of Zerglings, but he's just got so much money banked. He's getting quite a few Zerglings, but essentially with only a Baneling nest, he's got that second Queen there, but it must purely be for some kind of mass Zergling flood. He's also getting up those drones, so it was a bit peculiar he saved up so many minerals there, but mine's not the place to wonder why. But yeah, both players really just going into that Ling Bling phase, which is so common. The reason you go to that is because if you want to play defensively with Banelings, you only need sort of 2 or 4, because 2 Banelings kill Banelings. That's one of the most important things you need to know as a Zerg player. With 2 Banelings, you can kill a whole load. That's why you see many pros send what's called Baneling trains, where they go in like 2 at a time. That way, because it's mutual destruction, and if they've clumped up their banelings, you take them all out, etc. So it's a really safe way of doing it. These two Zerglings are going to be able to get a scout if they see the spine crawler going down. Neither player actually going for a roach one yet, which is a bit surprising, but they're happily getting it up. Roaches aren't actually too cost effective, and you need to get critical mass, otherwise they become a bit of a problem. And King Kong here spreading out all of his banelings very nicely. This means these two banelings won't be able to actually kill that many. They do manage to kill two though, and now it's just a case of this queen picking off the final one, so they won't be able to go any further forward. But there are some Zerglings coming up. Those Zerglings could harass the queen irritatingly, and Freaky's actually getting up a lot more there. And that baneling did detonate. The reason that detonation went off there was to kill any lava, but there weren't actually too many sitting around as far as I believe. But more banelings getting morphed in here, and essentially Freaky, he needs to build some banelings. There we go, so two banelings are down. These two will get spotted. They should be able to get taken out before they finish morphing, but they weren't cancelled. There are these two hidden banelings though. Will they get seen? Because if they do, that could, well, be bad times. They are seen, so all the drones are now pulled. The queen's there already. There's more banelings around. Basically, this is looking for a good position for Freaky. Meanwhile, King Kong, he is getting up his roach one as well as an Evo chain, but getting a lot more Zerglings out as well. So this is starting to look like pretty fun times for him. He's getting his lair. He has started that +1 missile attack really early as well, which I like. Meanwhile, we will see Freaky. He's going for his lair. He's got that Evo chamber down, getting +1 melee, which is a long way ahead. Not really doing anything else, so that kind of seems to me like he's running off 4 gas. He's banking up a lot, and he's getting lair without a roach warren, which says to me I'm going to build a spire rather. I don't know why I keep mixing that up today. It's really strange, but I would imagine a spire is going to go down. If not, I don't know. Oh no, he's actually going for an infestation pit. That's really weird timing, because he doesn't have a roach warren, so he's going for some kind of upgraded Ling Infestor army. Third base coming out for King Kong though, that's going to put him in a good spot. He's got a lot of Zerglings out on the field. That one baneling could be in bad times, and he does get 3 Zerglings there, which isn't too bad. Meanwhile, one baneling hit does go off pretty badly. There are more Zerglings here by a considerable amount for King Kong. He's going to focus down that spine or just run in. This gives him scouting information to know what's coming down. He knows that third macro hatch is there, but obviously this third base has been seen by Freaky as well. Everything is getting cleaned up now, so that's the end of those Zerglings, and a big flood of Zerglings out here for Freaky. And of course he's got that +1 melee attack done, +2 melee attack on its way, pathogen glands on its way as well, and the creep spread joining up these second and third base here for King Kong. King Kong seems to be lacking quite a few units. He's getting some roaches out, but this is what I was saying, you need the critical mass of roaches, because this group of roaches will die very quickly to 1-1 marines. 1-1 Zerglings, sorry, if he isn't careful. And really this third base getting focus fired down, he wants to deny that, and he does manage to force the cancel, and that's really exactly what he needed to do. These roaches are unupgraded, the +1 missile attack is about to finish, but against this massive Zergling force, you'll be better off getting the carapace, because the faster attacking your enemy units are, the more important the carapace is over the missile attack. And likewise, roaches attack pretty slowly, so the weapon upgrade isn't that important for them. Unless, of course, it's a roach v roach fight. Anyway, we will see the third base on its way out now for Freaky, so that puts him slightly ahead in the third base timing. He also has this third hatchery, which is really critical. And now the roaches are moving across, but there's 7 infestors coming out. These spines are moving forward, getting up a very strong defensive position, and this is a big Zergling counterattack. Will get us around on these roaches. That's going to be quite a few free roaches if he did choose to go for it, but instead going back for this third base again. Does not want that going down though. However, neither does King Kong want Freaky's third base. The cancel didn't go off there, so that's 300 minerals lost straight away there for King Kong, who is actually banking up an awful lot of minerals there. Now, these Zerglings are running in, getting a scalp on everything, hitting off the queen, that's essential. Now, big fungal growth coming off here, outside Freaky's natural, and those spines are having an awful lot of fun. These roaches aren't those just dying to chain fungals, and that is very cost effective, obviously. Anytime you kill units for energy, it is infinitely cost effective. It costs you nothing to kill them. Whereas if you lose some units, obviously it's not quite as good. The +2 melee attack about to finish for Freaky, +2 missile attack and +1 carapace coming out for King Kong. And he's also getting down Burrow, which I think is a good choice. This third base yet again though, going to be not cancelled. And this is really unfortunate for King Kong there. He needs to really get that base up, and he's getting a good number of roaches. And as those roach numbers get higher, the lings become less effective, especially when that +1 carapace comes out. But with the infestors there as well, it's actually really, the fungal growths are really going to make the difference. And Overseer coming out for Freaky, he's also getting up that +1 carapace, because he doesn't have Hyper Star +3 melee attack yet. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for the Hive yet, because that'd be a good transition. He's getting all these Zerglings out, getting 3 upgrades and adrenal glands, as well as getting out Ultralisks. But this third base for Freaky is yet again looking exposed. But having said that, the third base for KingKong also looking like it's going to be cancelled yet again. The centre base being taken, and I don't think Freaky has noticed that yet, and that could really be key. Meanwhile, the Infestors are here, as are the Spine Crawlers, just trying to defend as best they can. And essentially he wants to trap the units here so the Spines can start hitting those Roaches, and that looks exactly what he's going to try and do. But there are Roaches pretty much everywhere, and really he wants to use as much energy as possible, and a big two-prong attack coming in here from KingKong. The third base does finish, but if it gets taken out, that is a big loss. And it looks like it's going to, because, well, these Roaches are nicely spread out, some fungal growth do go off, and actually it looks like this is going to get cleaned up. The Roaches are being fungled at every angle they come in from, and really this is very nice. The Spine Crawler wall is going to finish off all of those Roaches, and this Infestor control is brilliant out of Star Hosieo's Freaky. And really everything's got cleaned up very, very nicely here. There's still more Zerglings coming out. This is essentially purely Zerglings on the field at the moment, and that is up against, of course, well, it's now a third base in the centre, but the third base is up for Freaky as well. This fourth base needs to get dealt with pretty soon. Meanwhile, some Roaches are on their way up, but there's enough Spines there now to deal with anything that is really thrown over toward the whole army, which apparently that's exactly what it's going to be. The whole army is just going to come through. These Zerglings do have to be careful. They are 2-1 against what is 2-1 Roaches as well, so the upgrade's pretty equal. Obviously, one Roach ball gets bigger, it becomes harder to deal with. The Infestors aren't getting in on this, but the Zerglings yet again going straight for this fourth base, or third base as we call it, while it's up, but it will get cleaned up by the Roaches. Great positioning of an Overlord here by KingKong, just making sure he's got vision absolutely everywhere. This Overlord could actually move down a little bit, and really it's interesting to see. Wow, KingKong's going for a Nidus network. That is awesome. That just makes me so happy, because everyone loves a bit of Nidus. Still no Hive from Freaky, which I'm quite surprised at, because, well, he's got his third base up, and he's got a build which is very much reliant on this Ling Infestor, and the only reason you do that is to have the money to go for those Ultras really quick, capitalise on the melee upgrades. But a Nidus network coming out for Freaky as well, so clearly they have rehearsed their Nidus play. Where even is this Nidus network? That's what I want to know. I'm just sitting down here, so everything loading up into Nidus network. There's this Overlord here, so my money's on a big drop. That was freaky timing. I did that, just like there, and it disappeared. Anyway, so this is going to get straight in the main base, and all the tech could get taken out pretty quick. If that spawning pool goes down, that's going to be really bad times for Freaky, because the majority of his army is completely relying on that. Out come the Roaches. All of the Zerglings are out of position. Those two Queens, they're going down. They are not going to last any time at all. Some Infestors could get picked off very quickly, but fungal growth goes down. Only one actually manages to be taken out. Now, what are these Roaches going to target? Looks like they're going for the Macro Hatch first. The more Infestor turns are on their way up. And really, KingKong, he's got a couple of Infestors out on the field as well somewhere. Not quite sure where, but no, he doesn't. He can't have. It's not an infestation card. I don't know what that was, but anyway, the lair is down. That's a big loss, and all of these Infestors have Roaches. Sorry, have burrowed. Just look at the number of Infestors here, though. For Freaky, this is just so many. Some good funnel growth and Infestor turns being locked down. But this is the trouble. If your army is completely reliant on nothing but Infestors, well, they can get picked off pretty bad once they lose energy. This third base obviously essential, and vision is there. Now the spawning pool is going to go down, and that is a big loss. That's not the biggest problem though for KingKong. KingKong has got a Nidus in his own base, because if at first you don't succeed, just Nidus them back, and this is pretty crazy. You don't see this sort of thing very often, and there are lots of Infestors in your base with an awful lot of Infested Terrans, which is actually quite a nice trick. You can just lob all of these Infested Terrans literally everywhere. They kill things exceptionally fast, and then you just go back into the Nidus and run away. Which seems to be the exact trick that Freaky's going for here. Meanwhile, he's moving all of his Spines. The Roaches are clearing out the main and natural. This game is just getting pretty damn crazy. Like everywhere, it's getting a bit hectic. So all of the tech now for Freaky, aside from his Infestation Pit. Oh no, his Infestation Pit has been killed now. So all of Freaky's tech, apart from that Baning Nest, which is just dying, is out. All of Kong's tech is down apart from his Infestation Pit and Nidus Network. But King Kong, and now he's actually just lost his 4th, so it's down to 2 mining bases to 1, which is obviously in King Kong's favour. But suddenly this game is getting really, really crazy, and basically Freaky had a lot of minerals, so he's just reinforcing with spines, loading back up into this Nidus Network, and lob all of these infestors out. Wondering what these Zerglings are for here, because essentially while they are all staying around, there's not really much they can do there, and the roaches are going to clean out the Nidus now, so all of these Zerglings running back in there because, well, they don't want to die. Meanwhile, King Kong's just left these roaches burrowed up in the main, going to run around. He can't really engage this base too easily because there's just too many spines there. It take massive losses, especially with fungal growth. He is Freaky's re-getting his lair. No sign of a lair anywhere for King Kong, although he doesn't really need it because his strategy was relying on those roaches. So essentially once those roaches die, I think that's actually going to put King Kong in a bit of a problem because he doesn't have a new roach warren, which that's going to be awkward. But he does, however, have a lot more bases coming out. But here comes a Nidus for Freaky, who's just going to sit here and wait. And this is a great move, lobbing the infested Terrans over. Is he going to focus down the hatch or the spawning pool or what? No, the spawning pool is going to go down first, which I think is the best decision ever. And massive fungal growth killing off all of those infested Terrans super quick, but not before all of the unit producing structures or unit tech for King Kong is down. And this game is just getting so crazy. A new roach warren being built though, it is a quarter done. Essentially these roaches are causing the problem for Freaky, who's happy just sitting on one base. He's like, well, I'll just sit here, it'll be fine, nothing bad can happen. Of course the bad thing that can happen is he can only build Zerglings now, and he can't even build more infestors, which is a bit of a problem. But no one tell him that. Let's see if he keeps going. Meanwhile, these Zerglings have forced to cancel both of these bases, so that's a good choice. There's Nidus worms everywhere at the moment. There's also, of course, these roaches sitting here for King Kong. And if I had to call it, well, King Kong is obviously ahead because he's like 90 supply over Freaky. He's got such a good fortified position that, short of, say, a Broodlord army, I'm not quite sure how King Kong's going to punch through this. And now I heard a Nidus come down. Oh, here we go, just over here, quite happily, and it looks like some investors going to just jump out, pop back in, and that may have been one or two too many infested Terrans, but this is all fine, and now Freaky is able to take a second base. And isn't that just the most weirdest game you've ever seen? I don't think Spines can't go through Nidus, so I don't know how he's going to try and defend this. He's going to have to send like pretty much all of his units, but this is just getting crazy. This game is really odd. Some changelings here for Freaky running around. Not quite sure what he's hoping to do with these though, unless it's the grab vision over here to try and drop a Nidus in the third. Who knows? There's more Niduses down somewhere. I heard them, but exactly where, I don't think I'll ever know. But he is producing a Nidus worm. Where is it? Ah, it's down here. Hidden nicely away from those roaches, so that's a good choice. Meanwhile, a lot of stuff coming out here. Freaky getting a lot of, well, a couple of best turns just to pick that up, building an awful lot of spines around pretty much anywhere he can. Meanwhile, King Kong taking 2 more bases here. This is just all getting pretty crazy and manic, and now this is, well, I have no clue who's actually got more infested turns here. All I know is there's an awful lot of them absolutely everywhere, and this is going to be kind of mutual destruction. That's basically what's going to happen. Fungal growth going off on all of King Kong. The Nidus does go down though, that's quite a big loss. Some of the spines are getting focused down. King Kong definitely has more infested Terrans at the moment, and is able to clean up all of these spines without cancels going off the infestors. They have no energy at all. That is not nice times. The infested Terrans do die though, and that's really going to clean that up. This is all getting pretty damn crazy. Some infested Terrans coming down at the third base, or was the third base of King Kong, and they are going to manage to kill off an extractor very well. They're not moving forward. Meanwhile, massive infested Terrans into kind of the tech base of Freaky. And I think with this, King Kong may actually be in a good place to go ahead and win. This is just madness. Like, anyone, I don't know what's going on here, but it's amazing either way. There's just lots of units, everything's dying. I think King Kong is coming out on top. He is maxed out now, and obviously that's to the kind of 60th supply of Freaky. He's lost his low again, and I'd say that's pretty much GG there. All the drones getting taken out, and there goes the GG from Freaky. So that was a bit of a peculiar game. I hope you did enjoy it. It was pretty random and fun. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. That would be a massive favour. Also, if you do like my cast, subscribe to my YouTube. That's up on screen there, youtube.com/Maddles91. Follow me on Twitter at SC2_England. And last but not least, leave any comments or criticisms, improvements and stuff in the cast comments below on YouTube. That'd be awesome. Thank you very much for watching though, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again. Bye for now.